Hey, everybody. Welcome to UnplugIT. I'm your host, Stephen Rose. Thanks for joining. A few weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to get to go to the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in Orlando. And while it was so great to catch up with so many of you, I did get a chance to sit down and do some interviews with a series of company owners and IT pros and MVPs to ask them my favorite question: what's keeping you up at night? So, over the next few weeks, we're going to take a look at those interviews, starting with this one today. Enjoy.
D'arce Reid, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Do you remember our announcement you?
Why are you here this week? What's on your mind? What are you looking to walk away with?
I'm looking to see a lot of the new stuff that's coming out with Copilot. We've heard a lot of new announcements come out, as well as different use cases for it and different adaptions for different types of scenarios. So looking to see how we can further introduce Copilot into the world and make new changes.
What's keeping you up at night? It's my favorite question to ask, because everybody has something different that they're like, I wish this would move forward, or I wish Microsoft would do this, or I could do this. What are some of the gaps? I know one of the things that one of your specialties is some of the prompting stuff that you've been working on. And I know that's something that a lot of folks are having issues with. So let's start with what's keeping you up. And then I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about Copilot prompting.
Yeah. So things that keep me up at night is the fact that most users aren't familiar with how to create good prompts. We see a lot of the same challenges that they're having with prompt creation come from some of the ways that they used to try to utilize search and not being able to make great search queries, therefore not getting great information back.
Right.
And we see that same thing with prompts, where a user is now starting to try to make their prompts, but not getting the expected response back, and therefore creating additional frustration and challenges there. So some of the things that keep me up at night is how can we better within product inform users how to make better decisions and how to guide them through that process, as well as thinking about the fact that we have different tools to do different jobs. And just like in AI, we're going to have different GPTs or different assistants to help us do those different things. And being able to help a user connect and discover those different assistants to help me in the context of when I need them. It's going to be a really important concept that I think is still evolving, that I'm looking forward to.
And prompts, for those of you who are not familiar, are really critical, because think of it like Clippy, hey, what are you trying to do here? How can I help you? And the problem that a lot of folks are having with Copilot is, great, I have it and I've taught it how to do these simple things, but what are some of the more complex things I can do, and how do I do it? Or when can I do it? And it's having Copilot give you kind of suggestions. Here's some other things I could do with this, but some of this interests you. And that's been one of the for the folks who have gotten past the adoption hurdles and is really driving deeper usage. And that's one of the things that really helps that. What is a tip or trick or secret you would have for somebody around that?
So something that I would look at is always starting with the outcome that you're looking to achieve first. Because if you know your outcome, then you can at least ask an outcome-based prompt. And what I mean by that is, if I needed to get a summary of a meeting, we're going to take something very simple that you can do today. It's not going to be, hey, I need a summary of. It's more of like, this is what I actually want to get out of that summary. I want to understand what the key points were to take away from this meeting, if my name was called, any action items that I have to take, and thinking about how, as a user, not just saying the overall outcome that I want to achieve, but what are the details that I actually want to receive.
Got it.
And make my prompt based on that. You'll find that you'll get a lot better responses, and it'll help you train on how to get specific when you're actually creating those prompts.
Is there a good resource that you've liked for teaching you more about doing some of this, or that's kind of helped you over the hump? I mean, for anyone.
For me, it's been a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
I came back very strong from using search and SharePoint in those days. And so I brought a lot of that knowledge with me.
And you have a lot of Power Platform experience.
Actually, I really don't. It's very funny.
Really? I thought you did for some reason.
No, my colleagues do. And I understand a lot about Power Platform, but it hasn't actually been a strong passion of mine.
Interesting.
Okay. Mostly because I have ADHD. And
me too.
It seems to be
medicated, going into therapy, it all helps, and it's helped me to get where I am today.
High functioning people in the world. And when I go I brought up the same thing. Anytime I've had to do like those form creations or those very logic based
Yeah.
processes, my brain just goes, nope, I will see you later. I'm going on vacation.
Right.
It's what makes me not a great coder, but makes me amazing at HTML and CSS.
There you go.
I can style the world and make it work beautifully, and I can explain it. But sometimes I'm going to need that, partner or that help to get through the actual building of some of those type of
What do you
components.
think of the new SharePoint announcements this morning?
So the SharePoint announcements both bring me joy and insanity, my own personal insanity.
Why?
And that's from a branding standpoint. I built the world around helping employees build around the company brands.
Right.
And while I absolutely love the ability to build these new, very visual components in SharePoint and things like that, it also opens up that door where you're potentially not going to be in brand. And when you have people who aren't designers,
Who now, if you make it too easy, are going to go off on their own, create things, and that's going to, I got it.
and users are still learning how to choose good pictures
Yes.
for web
Right.
arts.
Designer helps. Yes.
Yeah. So I think adding in some of those visuals, maybe what designer can help, but at the heart of everything needs to be the quality of your content.
Right.
And what I think with some of that is people are going to focus more on the visuals and less about the quality of their content and create maybe things that might be less useful than they're hoping to achieve.
Got it.
So
No,
I think a careful balance.
Yeah, look over. And the problem is it's very easy to make something look great, but if it doesn't have any value for the person going to it, it hasn't done it. But also
Exactly.
things where there's too much information and it's boring doesn't help either. It is a fine line to sort of bring that.
We still get a lot of those circumstances where everyone's like, I need a link to everything on the homepage. Otherwise, people won't know it's there. And I'm like, we have better ways to help you accomplish that.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you one last question. That is the importance of community.
Oh,
This
my
is a
goodness.
community conference. So to you, what is the importance of community?
For me, community is not only learning from each other, but also being willing to share with each other. Because a lot of the experiences that we have, we bring to the table based on our own experiences at our own companies. Microsoft's going to give us a helping guide to most of it. But if you really want to learn how to adapt, how to fix your problems, how to get, that one question you haven't solved, that is where community comes in. It's the ability to actually connect to those experts and be able to gain real world knowledge.
And this is a great place to do it, which is why we're all here this week. And we're wondering why you are not. So, hey, get out there, get involved. Awesome. Darcy, thank you so much. Always.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Steve.
All right.